What's such a boy for another reaction? Today's video we have When Wrestlers Snap by Tapo Corner. I just reacted to one of these videos, but like the shit got fucked up. The shit was on a whole nother tab. It was on a Google tab while I was reacting. So I was kind of mad, bro.
The wrestler formerly known as Manu in WWE was competing at an independent show.
Man, there was so many wrestlers. Manu, I don't even remember. It had been so many WWE segments. I don't remember all this shit. Like, it had been niggas show up on the show one time and you never see them again. Like,
his opponent was an 18-year-old wrestler who, like Manu, had a Samoan character. The only problem was that this 18-year-old wasn't actually Samoan. Manu didn't even wait for the bell to ring to express how he felt.
Oh my god! What the?
wait, what the hell?
Holy shit! What the?
Well, he really be. First of all, both of these niggas is unathletic as hell. They just fat. What is this? What
They
is
didn't
this?
even ring the bell! Oh my god!
What is indie wrestling? Okay, these niggas is wrestling in a garage, like a storage unit, like with a warehouse. Like, what is? But this is on Twitch. I'm looking at the chat. Like,
Away from me! Oh my god! Wait, what? Oh my god. Jesus, indeed. Dude, the aura's unreal.
Get this piece of shit out of my ring.
Oh!
I don't know what island you think you come from, but it sure as ain't the South Pacific, you piece of shit.
Oh my
This
god.
is not cosplay. You got some bad advice from some bad trainers because I don't play wrestling. I bled for this shit. My family bled for this shit for generations. I am not gonna let no bullshit Puerto Rican piece of shit put a skirt on.
it's kind of funny though. So this nigga was a fake Samoan, but he was faking being a Samoan. He really Puerto Rican, and he's a real Samoan. And he mad.
And act like he's Samoan.
Bloodline rules. Don't play by my bloodline.
Acknowledge me, the real bloodline.
Gang, you not Roman, gang. You not making it to WWE, gang. You ain't about to be up there with Jacob Fatu and Jay Uso and Jimmy Uso, gang. Them niggas don't know you.
Manu clearly stated why he attacked his opponent, but fans were quick to point out that Manu's cousin, WWE Hall of Famer Yokozuna, portrayed a Japanese man while actually being Samoan. It's unclear what
They wrong as hell for that.
happened to the 18-year-old wrestler, but it's safe to assume he no longer pretends to be Samoan. Now this was a completely
He
one-sided
really, like, we was really beating, bro.
fight, but this next incident wasn't. At an independent wrestling event in California, 4 wrestlers were competing
I thought he was just gonna talk about WWE shit. So he talking about independent wrestling and indie shit too.
in a fatal 4-way match. 2 of the competitors were Eddie Kingston and Chris Hero, with the latter winning the match.
Oh, Eddie Kingston.
After it was all over, Chris Hero stayed in the ring to talk on the mic, but Kingston lay in the corner while making a disrespectful gesture. Hero got upset by this, and all hell broke loose.
Hold on, fire. Is this really real? I can't tell if these niggas really like mad or this shit's still scripted, right? I don't know. Nigga hit me in the back of my head with a headphone with a mic, man. We about to start throwing hands for real. Hold on, like hit this thing in the back of the head with the mic. Like, come on. Damn, he really kneeing this. Yeah. Yeah, niggas be down to take any bumps. Like, I'm not about to let no nigga hit me in the back of my head with a mic, gang. Like, Eddie Kingston just crazy. Look at the shit he doing AEW. Like,
Eddie Kingston never explained why he made the gesture, but he and Chris Hero personally resented each other. Neither man has said why, but it's believed that both wrestlers had strong personalities and would clash. Also, allegedly, Eddie Kingston also felt that Chris Hero played a role in one of his close friends leaving wrestling. This would explain why Kingston was so quick to start a fight with Hero. But incidents like this don't just happen at small independent events. In August 2021, Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair had what should have been an uneventful match. Early in the
hell happened to Nia Jax? She's still in WWE.
Contest, there were several moments where things got a bit stiff, but nothing out of the ordinary. However, things began to get a bit odd when Charlotte went to grab Nia, and Jax instead got to her feet. Charlotte then slapped Nia in the face, which caused Jax to snap. The two began legitimately slapping each other, and the match completely spun out of control. The two tried to get the match back on
that was real. That was serious. They got serious.
Track, but they were clearly not communicating. The two took a few more physical shots at each other before stumbling their way to the finish. After it was done, Nia Jax gave her side of what happened.
You know, it was the miscommunication. Things got heated, like legit got heated in that match. And I did warn her a few times to stop, like to chill out. And she didn't.
Yeah, of course them girls. Like, of course the girls.
And so then I two-pieced her. And, you know, we came back and like once we were calm and, you know, we were level-headed, we all kind of were just like, all right, got kind of out of hand.
Ironically, almost exactly 8 years earlier...
yeah, I know about this. Yeah, Brock really slapped that nigga Braun Strowman.
A similar incident happened on Monday Night Raw. In August 2023, WWE pitted Sin Cara against Alberto Del Rio. Less than a minute after the bell rang, Sin Cara performed a suicide dive. Upon impact, the masked wrestler called for the referee. The move had dislocated Sin Cara's finger, and the match was called off. Alberto Del Rio was frustrated by this and began legitimately attacking Sin Cara, forcing the referee to physically intervene to stop Alberto. After the incident, Del Rio explained...
Alberto Del Rio ruined his career. Ain't he in jail now for DV, domestic violence?
Why he got so angry and what happened when he and Sin Cara got backstage.
You lazy bastard, stop the match because you broke one of your fingers. I got really mad and I threw him inside the ring and I kicked him for real. But of course, after the match, I said, hey man, I'm sorry, but you're just lazy. What happened? Where's your...
Yeah, he broke his finger. What? Like, nigga, what? The fuck out, man, the fuck out of here. Yeah, ain't this wrestling, ain't this script? Ain't about to fight wrestle you with a broken finger file, like the fuck?
Your heart, where's your pride for the business? And he was like, well, you know, I just don't want to be here anymore. And I said, well, then leave, bro. And he did. He quit the company like 2 weeks after.
In 2003...
Oh, well, but, dang. You want this man to wrestle you with a dislocated finger?
An independent wrestler named Masada got an opportunity to wrestle in WWE. His opponent was Maven, and the two were meant to have a simple match, with Maven getting the win. After performing a neckbreaker, Masada covered Maven using his right foot. Maven immediately broke character and took Masada to the mat. The scuffle ended quickly, and the two got the match back on track. Maven would address the incident directly on his YouTube channel.
You see me in the corner throwing fists. I wasn't stiff with those fists. I wasn't hitting him. I wasn't trying to hurt him in any way. I was just trying to let him know that there is absolutely no way I could stand for him covering me that way. Why did I do that? Because in my head, I was imagining Arn Anderson asking me why I would let someone not named Chris Jericho put his foot over top of me. In our business, that's a very derogatory way to cover somebody.
Typically, it's the rookie wrestlers who get humbled by the veterans, but that's not what happened in this next incident. In 2005, wrestling legend Rick Steiner was competing in a tag team match in Florida. One of Steiner's opponents was a man named Vordell Walker. Once Walker got tagged in, Steiner instantly began taking liberties with the young wrestler. However, what Rick Steiner didn't realize was that Walker was a legit MMA fighter. Once Vordell had enough, he began fighting back and started grappling with the wrestling veteran. Walker eventually managed to take Steiner to the mat and put him in a hold. After a bit, both men got back to their feet, with Steiner looking exhausted. Walker tagged out, but that wasn't the end of it.
Go back.
In August 2025,
Oh,
MMA
this nigga up at the Raja incident. Oh my god.
fighter Raja Jackson was a guest at an independent wrestling event in California. Raja was hanging out backstage while live streaming, and plans were in place for him to have a small role on the show. The wrestler Raja would be working with was Psycho Stu. When Stu saw the camera, he decided to add a bit of drama.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, I think that's a
Oh, you don't. Easy. He's not a worker, bro.
Raja was upset about what Psycho Stu had done, and it looked like Jackson was ready to throw down. However, other wrestlers got between them,
But it was crazy as shit, bro.
and the situation was de-escalated. Stu apologized, saying he thought Raja was a fellow wrestler, and it appeared that Raja accepted it. However, another wrestler on the show pulled Raja aside and planted an idea in the MMA fighter's head.
So when you run in on his shit, you give him his receipt. Remember what a receipt is? Give him that receipt, bro. Tag his shit.
Raja Jackson then sat and watched the show, waiting
Gang Roger, he ain't mean like actually start beating this nigga ass in them with a real punch game. This wrestling, you forgot 5. Like,
for his moment. Once Psycho Stu was having his match, Raja Jackson jumped in the ring to perform his spot. However, Jackson completely snapped and unleashed a fury of real punches on Psycho Stu. After about 10 seconds of direct punches, one of the wrestlers backstage, Doug Malo, jumped in and pulled Raja off Psycho Stu. Malo later did an interview and explained exactly what happened.
What happened yesterday is he choked on his own blood.
On his own teeth, I heard.
Yeah, teeth and blood.
And he lost all of his teeth, right?
A lot of them, yeah. Broken facial bones. He was out on the slam, and then the guy had made contact multiple times. I remember seeing that, kind of being in shock, and then I just went. Aside of that, running in, there was other people that could have got involved that I made eye contact with, but they just stayed by the stage. Let me put it this way. I'm sorry to Stu that the people that said that they were your friends let this happen.
The incident left Stu with serious brain trauma, facial bone fractures, and other life-threatening injuries. Jackson was arrested and hit with multiple battery charges, but pleaded not guilty, and the case is currently working its way through the courts. This sadly wasn't the first time someone got into a wrestling ring with the intention of seriously hurting their opponent. In 2010, WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan was scheduled to have a match against Matt Bourne, better known as Doink the Clown. While Duggan saw it as just a regular match, Bourne saw it as his opportunity for revenge. Before their match, the two were talking about what they would do. Matt Bourne had wanted to use a steel chair and have more of a hardcore match, while Jim Duggan wanted to keep it simple. This angered Bourne, possibly because he wanted to inflict real damage on Jim Duggan. Bourne ultimately agreed to do it Duggan's way, but once they got into the ring, Bourne went off script and hit Duggan below the belt for real. This prompted Duggan to hit Matt Bourne with some real punches, and the two completely broke character.
You wanna work? You want? Huh? Make your move then. You funny man!
Rather than continue the match, Matt Bourne left the ring and grabbed a chair. Jim Duggan grabbed his 2x4, and the two just stared at each other. The referee counted both men out, ending the match, and Matt Bourne then left the building immediately. Now, the reason this happened is an incident that occurred
he was fighting in a basketball gym, like
25 years earlier, as Jim Duggan explains.
This was back in Mid-South. We were the Rat Pack. I was a young guy. It was me, DiBiase, and Bourne were the Rat Pack. We're a heel group. And I went over to Japan. My first trip to Japan, I was able to buy a car, right? I bought my first car, my first good car. And it's sitting there, and we went out. Matt ended up he was rough on women. He would actually, he wasn't rough on women. He got arrested many times for beating women. He was a piece of garbage. I have 3 sisters, 2 daughters. You don't put your hand on a woman. That just doesn't happen.
mm-hmm, yeah.
And he was after this girl in the bar. I put her in my car. Well, he spit all over my car and put a boot to it. And so next day we're at the Centroplex. I'm looking at my car, and DiBiase's like, "Yeah, that's a dent. That's a dent right there."
Oh boy,
he dented your car. So we're in the hallway of the Centroplex, and now we're arguing. Matt, boom, he made a leg dive for me. And of course, like I said, I won the states. I was undefeated amateur. The guy I beat for the New York State won the Pan Am Games. I was a pretty decent amateur, not Kurt Angle.
Wow.
But I'd give him a match.
Yeah, holy smoke.
But anyway, so he tried to leg dive me. I just pushed it down. Everybody back then was wearing cowboy boots. I put the boots to him 2 or 3 times so the head bing, bang, boom. And the big cat Ernie Ladd comes in. He grabbed me. That's it. Breaks it up. So I go to the dressing room. I'm in there with DiBiase, and Matt comes back in, about, half hour later or something. And he's like, F you, Doug, and this ain't over. Well, back then, old Hacksaw, if it ain't over, it's time to party. Here's Johnny. And I worked him over pretty good that time. And then it was 25 years before he tried to take his revenge on me when I wasn't expecting it.
Antonio Inoki is one of the most influential wrestlers of all time. He founded New Japan Pro Wrestling and developed the strong style of wrestling. While he may have been a pro wrestler, Inoki could actually fight and beat you up if he wanted to. In 1977, Inoki was scheduled to have a match against a wrestler who shared the same name, the Great Antonio. However, it wasn't the name that upset Inoki. The Great Antonio was a strongman before he became a wrestler, and he had accomplished some very impressive feats. Because of this, the Great Antonio never usually sold any of his opponent's offense. This carried over into Inoki and the Great Antonio's match in December 1977. The match started with Inoki hitting the Great Antonio with moves that did no damage to the big guy. However, rather than take it seriously,
Big fat nigga.
the Great Antonio turned the
Like a boom.
match into a comedy routine, with the strongman smacking his stomach and running the ropes for no reason. Inoki was slowly getting more and more upset that he was becoming the butt of the joke. Finally, a few stiff shots from the Great Antonio caused Inoki to snap.
We about to start beating. Yeah, this ain't wrestling in this one.
Inoki took his opponent to the ground and began kicking the Great Antonio in the head. The repeated blows left the Great Antonio a bloody and barely conscious mess. The referee ended the match by calling it KO, giving Inoki the win. This put an end to the Great Antonio's wrestling career, while Inoki's would continue to flourish. Decades
That boy was really mad.
later, a similar incident would unfold that also took place in Japan. In 1999, a British wrestler named the Dirtbike Kid had the opportunity to compete against a Japanese wrestling legend named the Great Sasuke. The match began with Dirtbike Kid throwing a lot of offense. In fact, Sasuke didn't get a single move in for the first few minutes. This frustrated Sasuke, which would help explain what happened next. The momentum of the match changed when Sasuke started throwing kicks at the Dirtbike Kid. However, Sasuke started kicking Dirtbike Kid harder and harder, even delivering several blows to the head. Then, Great Sasuke got his opponent on his feet and placed him in a chokehold. Within seconds, the British wrestler was tapping out, and the referee was begging Sasuke to release the hold. Sasuke eventually let go, and the fight was over. About 5 years after the incident, the Dirtbike Kid explained what happened behind the scenes. My first match on the tour was scheduled to be against Sasuke, and it wasn't until the guys were warming up in the ring before the show started that I began to smell a rat, and a pretty big one. Sasuke had come up to me and basically told me that our match was only going to go 5 minutes. Now, straight away, I wasn't happy, but I didn't show it. You see, none of this was agreed when I signed my contract, and apparently, I heard that they didn't like me trying to negotiate with them. Sasuke said that I was going to dominate him for a while, and then he would fight back in a real flurry and spin kick me for his big, quick effing submission finish. Well, I had apparently already pissed them off because I refused to wear the stupid mask they had made for me. Now, sorry, but the Dirtbike Kid isn't a masked wrestler, so why the F do they want me on a masked man tournament? I managed to compromise with them and say that I'd wear it to the ring only and then rip it off, where I'd wear the usual biking face mask that I usually wear during my ring entrance. They didn't like it, I could tell, but they agreed to it. This incident basically put an end to the Dirtbike Kid's career, but this isn't the first time this has happened. To hear about wrestlers who destroyed their own careers, watch...
Yeah, I watched that. Make sure to comment, subscribe, and I'll do this. If y'all want more, well, I'm gonna react to WWE. I react to everything on this channel, but y'all want more? Let me know. Thanks.